The phone rang at 2:47 a.m. in Victor's penthouse, high above the sleeping city. Most humans would have been jolted awake, but Victor wasn't most humans. He'd been awake for 3 centuries, and sleep was a luxury he'd abandoned long ago. He stared at the caller ID. Unknown number. Victor didn't take unknown calls. He had protocols, security, people who screened his communications. But something made him pause. A pull. A sensation he hadn't felt since 1823. Instinct, raw and undeniable. He answered. "Hello?" A small voice cracked through the speaker. A child, no more than 8 or 9 years old. Is this the Vampire King?" Victor's blood turned to ice, not from fear, from fury. "Who is this?" His voice dropped 3 octaves, the kind of tone that made grown men weep. "My name is Dimitri," the boy's voice trembled. "And my sister, she's hurt. She's on Blackwell Street, and she's not moving. There's blood, and—" "How did you get this number?" Victor interrupted, already moving toward his window, already scanning the dark streets below. "From Mom's phone, in her contacts. You're listed as VK, but I know what that means. Everyone knows who you are. Please, you have to help her. Her name is Liliana. She has white hair, and she's wearing red, and—" Victor wasn't listening anymore. He was already moving. White hair, red dress. The description hit him like a physical blow. He'd seen her exactly once, 3 weeks ago at the underground gallery on 5th Avenue. She'd been looking at a painting of a burning city, and when she turned, their eyes locked. For a moment, Victor forgot he was ancient, forgot he was powerful, forgot he was a predator who'd conquered empires. He'd felt like a human teenager seeing his first love. And then she was gone. "Stay on the line," Victor commanded, already summoning his driver with a thought. The bond he shared with his servants meant he didn't need phones for everything. Where exactly on Blackwell? "Near the old factory, by the railroad tracks. Dimitri!" "I know, boy. I'm coming." Victor hung up and moved like darkness itself, a blur of motion that shattered the penthouse window but left no glass falling. He'd mastered physics centuries ago. When you've been alive as long as he had, gravity becomes a suggestion. He hit the ground 3 blocks away and ran. The city was a labyrinth he'd built brick by brick, street by street, through decades of power and influence. Every shadow was his. Every corner answered to him. But tonight, none of it mattered. The only thing that existed was the desperate need to reach her. The old factory loomed like a corpse, abandoned, rotting, forgotten. And there, under the pale moonlight, he saw her. Liliana was crumpled on the concrete like a discarded doll, her white hair spread around her like a halo of frost. The red dress was torn. Her leg was bent at an angle that made Victor's vision go red with rage. She'd been hit by something. A car, maybe. Stupid humans and their machines. But more than that, he could smell the blood. And not just hers. There was another scent underneath. Familiar. Dark. Another vampire. Victor knelt beside her and lifted her carefully, his massive hands cradling her like she was made of glass. Her skin was cold, too cold even for a human in shock. Her breathing was shallow, erratic. "I've got you," he whispered, and his voice broke on the words. "I've got you now. You're safe." Behind him, a slow clap echoed across the factory floor. Victor's head snapped up, his eyes already burning red, flared brighter. "Well, well, well," a voice drawled from the shadows. A figure stepped forward, and Victor recognized him instantly. Marcus, an old rival, a vampire who'd been nursing a grudge for 200 years. "I was wondering when you'd show up, old friend. Took you long enough. Your little girlfriend here put up a good fight, though. Didn't expect that from someone with her unique status." "Her status?" Victor's voice was ice and fury combined. "Oh, you don't know?" Marcus laughed. "How delicious. She's not human, Victor, and she's not vampire. She's something else entirely, something rare, something the underground market has been looking for decades." Victor felt the weight of Liliana in his arms. This girl he'd seen once and never forgotten. This girl whose very existence was apparently a secret that could get her killed. "What did you do to her?" Victor asked quietly, and that quiet was more dangerous than any roar. "Nothing permanent, yet, but the council will pay handsomely for her delivery. 50,000, no, 100,000, maybe more. She's worth—" Hey, viewers, if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button now because this story is about to explode. Marcus just made the biggest mistake of his existence. Comment down below what you think Victor is about to do to this guy. Let's go. Victor set Liliana down on a clean patch of concrete, and he did it with such care that it broke your heart. Then he stood up. He was 7 feet of pure rage. "You have exactly 3 seconds to run." Marcus laughed until he realized Victor wasn't joking. The predator was awake now, and he was hungry for blood. Marcus didn't run. That was his second mistake. His first was thinking he could survive what came next. Victor moved like he invented violence itself. 1 second, Marcus was standing there, cocky and grinning. The next, he was airborne, slammed against the factory wall with enough force to crack concrete. The impact echoed through the abandoned building like a death knell. "You touched her." Victor's voice was barely a whisper, the most dangerous words ever spoken. Marcus gasped, blood pouring from his mouth. "Victor, wait! You touched her, and you were going to sell her." Victor's claws, because they weren't nails anymore, they were weapons, raked across Marcus's chest, not deep enough to kill, deep enough to hurt beyond measure. "Do you understand what you just did?" "I didn't know she was yours," Marcus shrieked out. "I swear, I didn't know." "She's not yours." Victor's eyes blazed scarlet, ancient fire burning in their depths. "She's something far more valuable. She's everything." Victor pulled Marcus away from the wall, only to slam him back again. Once, twice, a third time. Blood painted the concrete in arterial sprays. This wasn't a fight. This was a reckoning. "You Alephin, the council sent you, didn't they? Who else knows she's here?" "Just me," shrieked Marcus. "Just me, I swear. They contacted me 3 days ago, said if I could find her, they'd make me a lieutenant. Victor's hand closed around Marcus's throat, not to choke him, to silence him. "You're going to do exactly what I say, or I'm going to keep you alive for 300 years while I introduce you to every form of suffering the human body can endure. Understand?" Marcus nodded frantically. "You're going to tell the council that the girl is dead. You're going to tell them you killed her yourself, fed on her, and disposed of the body. You're going to provide them with enough false evidence that they'll stop looking." Victor leaned in close, his fangs inches from Marcus's face. "And if they ever find out otherwise, if so much as a whisper of her existence reaches their ears because of loose talk from you, I will find you. Across oceans, across centuries, across dimensions if I have to. I will find you, and I will make sure you beg for the mercy of true death." Yes, I'll do it. I'll tell them she's dead." "Good." Victor dropped him like discarded trash. Marcus crumpled to the ground, gasping, broken. "Now get out of my sight before I change my mind about letting you live." Marcus scrambled to his feet and ran, limping towards the darkness, disappearing into the night like the coward he was. Victor didn't watch him go. His attention was already where it mattered. Back on her. He rushed to Liliana's side, kneeling down with an urgency that betrayed everything he was trying to control. Her breathing was worse now, shallow gasps that barely moved her chest. The leg was definitely broken. There was internal bleeding. He could smell it. A normal human would be dead already, but she wasn't normal. Marcus was right about that. Victor pulled out his phone and called his driver. Bring the car to Blackwell and the factory, now. And call Dr. Voss. Tell him we have a priority case. Have him prep the medical suite. Right away, sir, came the immediate response. Victor's fingers brushed against Liliana's cheek. She was ice cold, her skin pale as marble. Her white hair was matted with blood. Looking at her like this, broken, bleeding, unconscious, awakened something in Victor that he'd thought long dead. Rage wasn't the right word. This was deeper. This was the kind of fury that toppled kingdoms. Hold on, he whispered. Just hold on. You're going to be okay. I promise, you're going to be okay. The sirens of the approaching car split the night. Within minutes, Victor's modified vehicle screeched to a halt, and his men rushed out with a stretcher. They'd been trained for this, for emergencies, for crisis situations, but even they hesitated when they saw the state she was in. Careful, Victor commanded, and there was iron in that single word. If anyone hurts her further, I will personally end them. They understood. They loaded her with surgical precision, and Victor climbed in beside her, never breaking contact. His hand remained on her shoulder the entire drive back to his compound. Dr. Voss was waiting when they arrived, a vampire who'd studied medicine for 2 centuries and owed Victor his life 3 times over. Severe trauma, Voss observed immediately, already moving. Compound fracture, internal bleeding, possible spinal injury. We need to get her to surgery now. Save her, Victor said simply. I'll do everything I can, but Victor, you need to understand, if she's human, the damage... She's not human. I don't know what she is, but she's not human. Do whatever you need to do. They rushed her into the operating theater. Victor tried to follow, but Voss blocked him. You can't be in here. You'll only distract me. I'll wait outside. It was the longest night of Victor's existence, and he'd existed through plagues, wars, revolutions, and apocalypses. He paced the corridor outside the surgery for 4 hours. 4 hours of not knowing, 4 hours of imagining worst-case scenarios, 4 hours of a man, no, a monster, confronting the possibility that he'd arrived too late. Around 6 a.m., Dr. Voss emerged, blood splattered across his white coat. Victor's heart stopped. She's alive, Voss said immediately, seeing the look on Victor's face. She's alive and she's going to recover. The healing factor she possesses, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. Whatever she is, her body is designed to survive catastrophic injury. The bones are already fusing. The internal bleeding has stopped. Her metabolism is burning through energy at an extraordinary rate, but she's stabilizing. Victor exhaled a breath he'd been holding since Blackwell Street. When will she wake up? Could be hours, could be days. Her body needs rest to complete the healing process. But Victor, Voss hesitated. We need to talk about what she is, and we need to talk about it soon, because if Marcus reports to the council, and if they know what she is, they'll send an army. The underground wants her alive, but there are others who'd kill her just to prevent the council from having her. Then we move fast, Victor said. His mind was already working, already strategizing. Get her stable and mobile within 48 hours. I want her hidden somewhere they'll never think to look. And Voss? Yes, sir? Nobody knows about this. Not your staff, not my people, not anyone. This stays between us. Understood? Understood. Victor pushed past him into the surgical suite. Liliana was lying on the table, cleaned up now, her injuries bandaged. Up close he could see her more clearly. She was beautiful in a way that transcended human beauty. Her features were too perfect, too symmetrical. Her white hair wasn't a dye job or a genetic anomaly. It was natural, part of her essence. He reached out and took her hand gently. I don't know what you are, he whispered. I don't know why seeing you once changed everything in my world. But I do know this. You're going to wake up and you're going to be safe. I'm going to make sure of that, even if I have to burn the entire vampire hierarchy to the ground to do it. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Victor almost didn't answer, but something made him pick up, the same instinct that made him answer Dimitri's call hours ago. Hello? A woman's voice, older, cautious. Is this the man who has my daughter? Victor's blood froze solid. How did you get this number? He asked slowly. Dimitri gave it to me. He said you saved Liliana. He said you're the vampire king, and that if anyone could protect her, it would be you. A pause. I'm her mother, and you need to listen very carefully to what I'm about to tell you, because her life depends on it. Liliana isn't just rare. She's impossible. She shouldn't exist. And when certain beings find out she's alive, they'll move heaven and earth to possess her. Who are you? Victor demanded, his voice a lethal whisper. My name is Cassandra, the woman said, and I've been running with my daughter for 15 years, but I can't run anymore. The hunters are closing in, and you're the only person in this world powerful enough to stand against them. Victor's grip tightened on the phone. Start talking. Not over the phone. It's not safe. They monitor communications. The old ones do. But I need you to understand something right now. Liliana isn't just rare. She's impossible. She shouldn't exist. And when certain beings find out she's alive, they'll move heaven and earth to possess her. Who are you? Victor demanded, his voice a lethal whisper. My name is Cassandra, the woman said, and I've been running with my daughter for 15 years, but I can't run anymore. The hunters are closing in, and you're the only person in this world powerful enough to stand against them. Victor's grip tightened on the phone. Start talking. Not over the phone. It's not safe. They monitor communications. The old ones do. But I need you to understand something right now. Liliana isn't just rare. She's impossible. She shouldn't exist. And when certain beings find out she's alive, they'll move heaven and earth to possess her. Who are you? Victor demanded, his voice a lethal whisper. My name is Cassandra, the woman said, and I've been running with my daughter for 15 years, but I can't run anymore. The hunters are closing in, and you're the only person in this world powerful enough to stand against them. Victor's grip tightened on the phone. Start talking. Not over the phone. It's not safe. They monitor communications. The old ones do. But I need you to understand something right now. Liliana isn't just rare. She's impossible. She shouldn't exist. And when certain beings find out she's alive, they'll move heaven and earth to possess her. Who are you? Victor demanded, his voice a lethal whisper. My name is Cassandra, the woman said, and I've been running with my daughter for 15 years, but I can't run anymore. The hunters are closing in, and you're the only person in this world powerful enough to stand against them. Victor's grip tightened on the phone. Start talking. Not over the phone. It's not safe. They monitor communications. The old ones do. But I need you to understand something right now. Liliana isn't just rare. She's impossible. She shouldn't exist. And when certain beings find out she's alive, they'll move heaven and earth to possess her. Who are you? Victor demanded, his voice a lethal whisper. My name is Cassandra, the woman said, and I've been running with my daughter for 15 years, but I can't run anymore. The hunters are closing in, and you're the only person in this world powerful enough to stand against them. Victor's grip tightened on the phone. Start talking. Not over the phone. It's not safe. They monitor communications. The old ones do. But I need you to understand something right now. Liliana isn't just rare. She's impossible. She shouldn't exist. And when certain beings find out she's alive, they'll move heaven and earth to possess her. Who are you? Victor demanded, his voice a lethal whisper. My name is Cassandra, the woman said, and I've been running with my daughter for 15 years, but I can't run anymore. The hunters are closing in, and you're the only person in this world powerful enough to stand against them. Victor's grip tightened on the phone. Start talking. Not over the phone. It's not safe. They monitor communications. The old ones do. But I need you to understand something right now. Liliana isn't just rare. She's impossible. She shouldn't exist. And when certain beings find out she's alive, they'll move heaven and earth to possess her. "Who are you?" Victor demanded, his voice a lethal whisper. "My name is Cassandra," the woman said, "and I've been running with my daughter for 15 years, but I can't run anymore. The hunters are closing in, and you're the only person in this world powerful enough to stand against them." Victor's grip tightened on the phone. "Start talking." "Not over the phone. It's not safe. They monitor communications. The old ones do. But I need you to understand something right now. Liliana isn't just rare. She's impossible. She shouldn't exist. And when certain beings find out she's alive, they'll move heaven and earth to possess her." "Who are you?" Victor demanded, his voice a lethal whisper. "My name is Cassandra," the woman said, "and I've been running with my daughter for 15 years, but I can't run anymore. The hunters are closing in, and you're the only person in this world powerful enough to stand against them." Victor's grip tightened on the phone. "Start talking." "Not over the phone. It's not safe. They monitor communications. The old ones do. But I need you to understand something right now. Liliana isn't just rare. She's impossible. She shouldn't exist. And when certain beings find out she's alive, they'll move heaven and earth to possess her." "Who are you?" Victor demanded, his voice a lethal whisper. "My name is Cassandra," the woman said, "and I've been running with my daughter for 15 years, but I can't run anymore. The hunters are closing in, and you're the only person in this world powerful enough to stand against them." Victor's grip tightened on the phone. "Start talking." "Not over the phone. It's not safe. They monitor communications. The old ones do. But I need you to understand something right now. Liliana isn't just rare. She's impossible. She shouldn't exist. And when certain beings find out she's alive, they will move heaven and earth to possess her." "The old ones?" Victor's mind raced. He'd been alive for 300 years, ruled the vampire underworld, commanded armies of the undead. But those words, "the old ones," triggered something primal in his blood, ancient fear, the kind that transcended logic. "Yes, the primordials, the ones who created your kind, the ones even the council answers to when they have to." Cassandra's voice cracked slightly. "Liliana is their bloodline, a hybrid, half primordial, half human. It was never supposed to happen. It violates every law they've established." Victor looked down at the unconscious girl on the table. White hair, impossible beauty, a healing factor that defied medical explanation. Suddenly, everything made sense, and it made no sense at all. "Why would you create something that dangerous?" he asked. "I didn't create her. I saved her." Cassandra's voice turned fierce, maternal. "Her father was a primordial who broke rank, who fell in love with a human woman, my sister. When the council found out, they killed my sister. They tried to kill Liliana, but I got her out. I've been protecting her ever since." "And now?" "Now the primordials know she's alive. There's a bounty on her head, not just from the council, from the entire primordial circle. They want her dead before she becomes a threat, or they want her alive so they can study her, use her, understand why she survived when she shouldn't have." Victor turned away from Liliana's sleeping form. "Where are you?" "I'm close, 20 minutes away. But Victor, you need to know, protecting her means war, real war, not vampire politics, not underground squabbles. This is existential. If you do this, you're declaring war on beings who've existed before humanity learned to write." "Give me your location." Cassandra gave him an address on the outskirts of the city. Victor ended the call immediately and turned to Voss. "I need you to do something for me. Anything. I need you to make copies of Liliana's blood samples, store them in multiple locations. If anything happens to me, if anything happens to her, I need insurance. I need leverage." Voss understood immediately. You're thinking long-term. I'm thinking survival, Victor corrected. The moment I claim her, I become a target. But if the primordials know that her genetic code is backed up across a dozen vaults, that the moment they kill her, the information goes public, it changes the equation. That's brilliant and terrifying simultaneously. Welcome to my life, Victor said. He left the compound within minutes, moving through the pre-dawn darkness like a ghost. The address Cassandra had given him led to a small house in a run-down neighborhood, the kind of place where nobody looked too closely at their neighbors. Cassandra was waiting on the porch. She looked like Liliana, same bone structure, similar coloring, but aged, weathered by years of fear. Her eyes were ancient, tired, filled with a mother's desperation. "Thank you for coming," she said. "Tell me everything," Victor commanded. They moved inside. The house was sparse, packed with go-bags and supplies, ready for flight at a moment's notice, the life of the hunted. Cassandra told him the story, told him about Liliana's father, a primordial named Aurelius who'd fallen in love with a human woman named Elena, told him about their forbidden union, about the beautiful daughter who'd inherited both bloodlines, about the massacre when the council discovered the truth. "They burned the house down," Cassandra whispered, "with Elena inside. I had Liliana hidden in the basement. I grabbed her and ran. I've been running ever since." "Why come out of hiding now?" asked Victor. "Because she's 15, because the primordials can sense her power growing, because I can't protect her anymore." Cassandra's eyes locked onto his. "But you can. You're powerful enough to negotiate, powerful enough to make them think twice. If you stand with her, if you claim her as under your protection, they might hesitate before moving against her." "Might isn't good enough." "I know." Cassandra pulled out a sealed envelope. "That's the location of the Primordial Circle Sanctuary, the place where they sleep between centuries, the place where they keep their oldest secrets. Liliana's mother left clues, ways to hurt them, ways to blackmail them. Use this information carefully, and you'll have leverage that even they can't ignore." Victor took the envelope. His hands were steady, but his mind was screaming. He was about to enter a war that could destroy him, that could destroy everything he'd built. But when he thought about Liliana, about waking up and finding her gone, about losing her before he'd even gotten the chance to know her, none of it mattered. "I'll protect her," he said simply. "That might not be enough," Cassandra warned. "Then I'll break the rules of existence itself," Victor replied. "I've done it before." Over the next 72 hours, Victor moved like a man possessed. He relocated Liliana to a secure location, a fortress hidden beneath the city, accessible only to him. He pulled strings across a vampire underworld, calling in favors owed to him by ancient beings. He leaked false intelligence to the council, spreading rumors that Liliana was dead, that her body had been destroyed, that her bloodline was extinct. And he waited for her to wake up. On the 4th day, her eyes opened. They were violet, the color of twilight, the color of impossible things. They locked onto Victor's immediately, and for a moment neither of them moved. "Where am I?" Her voice was soft, confused. "Somewhere safe. You were hit by a car. You've been recovering." "How long?" 4 days. She tried to sit up, and Victor helped her, his massive hand supporting her back. Even injured, even weak, she moved with a grace that wasn't quite human. "My mother?" she asked suddenly, panic flashing across her face. "Is safe. She's in protective custody. You're both alive, and you're both going to stay that way." Victor's voice left no room for argument. Liliana looked at him, really looked at him, and something passed between them. Recognition, destiny, inevitability. "Who are you?" she asked. My name is Victor. I'm what you'd call the Vampire King, and as of right now, you're under my protection. That means anyone who wants to hurt you has to go through 300 years of power, fury, and absolutely no mercy. She studied his face. That's a lot of danger for a stranger. You're not a stranger, Victor said quietly. I saw you once 3 weeks ago, and I haven't forgotten a single detail since. And now that I have you, now that I know what you are, I'm never letting you go. Liliana's eyes filled with tears. I don't even know you. You will, promised Victor, and before this is over, the entire world is going to know that you're mine to protect, that you're off limits, that anyone who touches you answers to me. The attack came at midnight. Not subtle, not strategic. The primordial circle didn't do subtle. They sent 3 of their oldest, beings who'd walked the earth since before civilization existed, beings whose power made Victor look like a child playing with matches. The fortress shook as they struck the outer barriers. Alarms screamed through the compound. Victor was already moving, already reaching for Liliana. Stay behind me, he commanded. No. Liliana swung her legs off the medical bed, testing her weight. The injuries that should have taken months to heal were gone. Her body had regenerated in days. I'm primordial blood, she snapped, ice-violet fire in her eyes, and I'm done hiding. The fortress trembled again. Dust rained from the ceiling. Victor heard the screams of his security team as the primordials tore through the upper levels like titans through sand. He grabbed Liliana's hand and pulled her toward the war room. You want to fight? Fine, but you do it smart. The combat chamber was built into the bedrock itself, 3 stories underground, reinforced with materials Victor had spent centuries acquiring. His best fighters were already assembled, vampire lords who'd survived centuries of conflict, beings whose names were whispered in fear across the underworld. They're breaching the second barrier, his lieutenant Kane reported. ETA 30 seconds to this level. How many? Victor demanded. 3. The council sent their enforcers, Aurelius, Seraph, and the twins. Victor's blood ran cold. The twins had never been defeated, not once, not in recorded history. The wall exploded inward. Dust and concrete filled the chamber. Then they emerged from it, 3 figures wreathed with power so ancient it bent reality around them. Aurelius was 8 feet tall, his skin marked with runes that glowed like lava. Seraph had wings, actual wings, that stretched 20 feet across, feathered in silver and midnight. The twins were smaller, more human-looking, but their eyes burned with the kind of malice that came from eons of unopposed dominance. Victor, Aurelius said, his voice like an avalanche, you've made a grave mistake. I've made a lot of those, Victor replied coolly. This isn't one of them. Behind him, Liliana stepped forward. The moment the primordials saw her, they went rigid. Impossible, Seraph whispered. She's alive. The girl is actually alive. She's not just alive, Liliana said, her voice steady and clear. She's awake, and I'm done being hunted. Power erupted from her, violent energy that filled the entire chamber. It wasn't aggressive. It was transformative. The air itself seemed to resonate with her presence, and Victor felt it wash over him like a tidal wave of pure potential. Aurelius stepped backward. You don't understand what you are, what you're capable of becoming. If you're not controlled, then I'll become what I choose, Aurelius said, not what you dictate. One of the twins laughed, a sound like breaking glass. The child thinks she can challenge us. How amusing. The twin moved. It was so fast that human eyes couldn't track it, but Liliana was faster. She met the attack head-on, and when her hand collided with the twin's strike, the impact sent shockwaves through the fortress. The floor cracked. The walls buckled. Victor's fighters scattered, clearing space for the real battle.
Liliana was incredible. She fought like she trained her entire life, but it was more than that. It was like her body remembered combat from 1,000 generations back, like primordial instinct ran through her blood, guiding every movement. She flowed through the twins' attacks, countered with precision, and when she finally caught the creature with a strike to its midsection, it flew backward 20 feet. Enough, Aurelius roared. Power erupted from his form, ancient magic that predated language itself. It crashed toward Liliana like a tsunami. Victor moved without thinking. He threw himself in front of her, bracing for impact. And Liliana caught the blast in her bare hands. She held it, contained it, and then, with a scream that shattered every window in the compound, she reversed it. The power shot back toward Aurelius with triple the force. It slammed into him, burning through his defenses, sending him crashing through 3 walls. When the dust settled, the ancient primordial was bleeding. Actually bleeding. The twins stopped fighting. Seraph folded his wings. For the first time in millennia, the Circle's enforcers looked afraid. "You can't kill us," Seraph said, and there was desperation in his voice now. "We are eternal. You're not eternal," Liliana said quietly. "You're just old. There's a difference." She raised her hand, and power gathered around her fingertips. Not destructive power. Something else. Something that made the ancient beings recoil in visceral terror. Victor recognized it then. It was the power of a primordial in her full form, the power to unmake the laws of existence that bound them all. "Tell the Circle," commanded Liliana, "that I'm coming for them, that Victor and I are coming for them, and that every law they created to limit me, every chain they forged, every barrier they built, I'm breaking all of it." Aurelius scrambled to his feet, blood pouring from his wounds. For a second, his eyes met Liliana's, and something passed between them. Recognition, maybe, regret, the knowledge that he'd been part of creating this. "Run," Liliana said simply. They ran. The primordials didn't walk away from fights. They didn't retreat, but they ran from her like prey fleeing a predator. And when they were gone, the fortress fell silent. Victor turned to Liliana. She was breathing hard, her eyes still blazing violent, power still crackling around her form. She looked like a goddess of war wrapped in human skin. "That was incredible," he said quietly. She turned to him, and suddenly the power dimmed. The warrior faded, and what was left was a 15-year-old girl who just discovered she could shake the foundations of the world. "What happens now?" she asked. Victor walked toward her and took her hand gently. "Now we do what they couldn't do. Now we change the world. Now we rewrite the rules." Over the next 72 hours, word spread through the supernatural underworld like wildfire. The primordial circle had been challenged. They'd been beaten by a hybrid, by a girl, by someone who shouldn't have been able to exist. The council dissolved within hours. Vampire lords who'd ruled for centuries suddenly decided they wanted to retire. The underground market collapsed. Hunters vanished. The carefully constructed hierarchy that had governed the supernatural world for 10,000 years crumbled like sand. And at the center of it all was Liliana, no longer hiding, no longer running, standing beside Victor as they reshaped the world into something new. A week later, Dmitri, the boy who'd made the call that started everything, was sitting in Victor's penthouse, eating pizza and watching movies like a normal kid. His sister had saved the world, and he was just happy she was safe. Liliana sat between Victor and her brother, her white hair catching the light from the city below. She was healing in ways that went beyond physical. Every day she discovered new aspects of her power. Every day she grew stronger. "What do you think happens now?" she asked Victor. He pulled her close, his massive hand gentle on her shoulder. "Whatever you want. You're not hunted anymore. You're not running anymore. You're free." She looked up at him, and for the first time since they'd met, she smiled, really smiled, like she believed it. "I'm free," she said softly. And in that moment, in the penthouse high above the city, with Dmitri laughing at something on the screen and Liliana's head resting against Victor's chest, the world felt right. They won. Not just the battle. Not just the war. They'd won the right to exist on their own terms. They'd won the future. Okay, viewers, that's it. That's the whole story, and it was absolutely insane. Victor went from lonely vampire king to world-changing legend. Liliana went from hunted to unstoppable, and it all started because one small boy begged up a phone and called for help. If this story didn't blow your mind, something is wrong with you. Smash that like button right now. Comment what your favorite moment was. Was it when Liliana caught Aurelius's attack? Was it when the Primordials ran? Was it the whole thing? Subscribe to this channel immediately because we have more stories like this coming and you cannot miss them. Turn on notifications so you get alerted the second we upload. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe now.